It's well known that Mars is one of the best candidates for extraterrestrial life in the solar system. That's part of the reason why Mars has received as much attention as it has. However, there's one question that needs to be answered. If life were to exist, how would it be possible? There are a few possible ways, but before we get into that, I'd appreciate you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for future content. Okay, so before we get into how there could be life in the present, first need to look at Mars's past. 4 billion years ago, that's 4 followed by 9 zeros. Mars was much warmer and wetter than it is today, but still significantly colder than the Earth was due to its increased distance from the Sun. And even with the colder temperatures, Mars was theorized to have contained oceans on its surface, which in turn would have supported microbial life. However, Mars's core cooled down prematurely, possibly due to a large impact event, which shut off its magnetic field, leaving its atmosphere exposed to the harsh solar wind. Today, only a thin shell of its former atmosphere exists, and without the thick, gaseous blanket covering the planet, it became much colder. The ocean either retreated into the polar ice caps, escaped into space, or, at least according to a recent study, seeped into the rocks of the planet. Now, the process likely happened very slowly, over hundreds of millions of years, likely giving these microbes a chance to move to safer spots on the planet. The truth is, while Mars is pretty inhospitable compared to Earth, it's really not all that bad. Antarctica gets colder than Mars's average temperature on a regular basis, and equatorial summers have approached room temperature before. Since extremophiles have been discovered in the Antarctic ice, although with the catch that Antarctica has oxygen while Mars does not. It seems reasonable that life could exist on Mars. The only question is, where can we find it? Well, there are a few possible places. It seems unlikely that it would exist on the barren surface of Mars, since it's exposed to the harsh solar radiation and cold temperatures. A better bet seems to be underground, where it's a bit warmer. Recent studies have shown that there are subsurface water lakes underneath one of the polar ice caps, so that's a potential place where we can find extremophiles. Though if the lakes existed, they would likely be saltier than the Great Salt Lake, which, if you don't know, is a really salty lake in Utah. Don't expect life to exist in these rocks, either. The water would be practically dissolved in the rock, so it's not like there are pools of water inside of every single rock on Mars. A very unlikely scenario involves the microbes adapting to the harsh conditions on the surface, but if that were the case, chances are we'd have found it by now. Needless to say, the prospects for life on Mars are fairly bleak, at least when it comes to living life forms. However, if Mars really did have oceans in the past, then we might be able to find fossilized life, or the remains of microbes that died out long ago. Even if we only found this instead of actual living organisms, it would still prove that life is possible outside of Earth and would help us in the search for life on exoplanets as well. And on that note, that wraps up this video about how to find life on Mars. As always, I'd appreciate you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for future content. Thanks, and have a great rest of your day.